To the midweek sort of drop in, we're going to have a little chat with everyone to get to know the team and the group. We've got a couple of questions. We'll see what everyone says, and we'll sort of have some back at each other. First question, I'm going to disruptive. How'd you get into basketball, man?
Funny enough, through you. I literally got to uni. As you all know, didn't really do much at uni other than focus on basketball. So yeah, it was basically for a year. I remember sitting there watching in our first year house Clippers, and yeah, I kind of went from there. I was just there ever since. But I've retired now.
Why the Clippers at the time?
Just because the big three they had. It was literally just Lob City, wasn't it? It was mad to watch. It was exciting. And that was kind of the first thing that I remember going, yeah, this is cool. I like this. I like this sport. I can watch more of this.
Decent. JP, what about you?
I think mine was, like most sports that I get into, just from watching it on TV. Apart from football, which was like a more of a family thing and a family affair, I was just watching it on Sky, and it just happened to be on Sky, and I was just, I love any sport apart from cricket. I love any sport.
Mate, I love cricket.
So for me, I thought the best, like what I learned from best is just watching, rather than just practicing. For me, it's just watching and just watching how people move and that. I think it's what you picked up on last week. It was more of the narrative of a story, and it was the 2013 finals, and it's game 6. Yeah, I think this is like one of the first games I watched. It was game 6.
Is that Ray Allen?
Yeah, when he's in the corner. But it's a narrative of like, the Spurs are getting like, the tape out, they get the red tape out,
Yeah.
People are in the crowd thinking it's all over and whatever, and then the next thing it's going to overtime, and it's just like, again, like Corey says, yeah, I can get into this if it's this entertaining.
Yeah, no, I agree. Wayne, what about you?
I got into basketball. I think I was like maybe 13 or something, 14. My friend bought a ball, and I was terrible. And I hate being really, really bad at something. Yeah, I hate being bad at something. So I have to like be good at it. And I just started watching basketball, and that's how I got into it.
Yeah. For me, my one to most. So I know Corey knows this. So my older brother plays wheelchair basketball, and so he's 5 years older than me. So he went along and played wheelchair basketball. And like any younger brother, you just go along to anything. Like if he's there, I'm going to watch. So I learned basketball through watching wheelchair basketball, and then from that, he definitely got into sort of the able-bodied running game. Okay, and then we shared a room when we were growing up. We used all the time. So when Sky Plus first came out with a little white box, we had that in our room. So him being 5 years older than me. So let's put it this way, like let's say if he's 15, I'm 8. Sat there, and no matter what, we'd watch a game, he'd record it, we watch it, and I learned that way. So I actually learned how to play the game before even actually playing any running game of basketball. So like how to shoot, how to pass, how to shoot, only came from when I played. Passing and rebounding came natural because me and him would go to the sports centre.
Look, you can't shoot.
But it makes sense. I learned to be in a wheelchair. I learned to shoot in a wheelchair, so I never jumped when I got the wheelchair. That's why my shot's so flat. So like it just what happened, and like the bit that's mad is one of the best shooters, and it's gonna annoy because he's gonna watch this, is my brother, and I put it down to me, right? So we used to go and train, like when he played, he used to go train, and what I used to do, I used to just get his rebounds, pass it to him, and a couple of times he used to say, "And in front of me," and me always being bigger than him, I just put my arms up, and he learned to shoot someone. So his shots got a lovely arc on it compared to mine that is like that, right? So where I learned from him was just watching him play, and then like any sort of questions I had, when we used to watch like Sky Plus, like used to pause it, we used to talk about how to set a screen and what a pick and roll actually meant. We used to play it, and that's where I learned the game. So I never actually played until university, so I just knew the game through him. But I played school games, but school games when you're a kid, and when JP tells us his stat line from his year 11 game means nothing. School games mean nothing.
Funny about that though, the thing is, my points back then in school are similar to uni, so it's just more about the rebounding and being a big guy.
Okay, Dennis Rodman.
Right. Dennis Rodman with a better beard. All right, I'm going to go to Wayne first for this. What's your best attribute or or best stat line you ever had?
The best stat line I've ever had is probably like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 threes. It was actually like my last year of uni. It was against Sussex. We lost that game, but I had a hot hand and I just didn't shoot enough. That's like my only thing I was really annoyed about. We lost the game by 3 as well, but no. But my best attribute, I'd probably say, I don't know, composure or like a bit of leadership or something like that. Just, galvanizing the troops, as they say.
No, I get it. JP, I'll come to you.
Mine probably is floor awareness or floor IQ. I'm going to go back to secondary school with that. Being a big guy for my age at the time, I was playing against obviously like shorter people and that. So I was put in the center role, and I was crashing the boards, getting them easy layups. But then I was never getting the fouls, and I was never getting the easy calls that I thought I deserved. And then I stopped going up for them like second chance points, and so I started facilitating, and I started to change my game because I wasn't getting I was going up and I was missing shots that I was being contested for. And I think that kind of evolved when I played for the city of Birmingham. We had a tournament up in Manchester.
Oh, hang on, I just catch that drop there. Don't worry.
God's sake, Tom. But then we went to Manchester for a tournament, and I had my coach in my ear just attack the basket, You're going to get these calls at the higher level rather than in school. And it did pay off. But then going to uni, I went back into the shell of I'd catch the board, but then as people saw in training, I'd then facilitate Aaron and JJ. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd pass it back out to the top of the key, and I was just worried I wasn't going to get them calls again.
Oh, do you mean Aaron with the wrist?
Yeah.
Do you know what? You've just said that, and straight away, I've just remembered you two playing a nice little 2-man game. Straight away, as soon as you said that, has just come into my head. Then I remember. That's
because I was worried I wasn't going to get the calls again at uni, so I went back to trying to be that facilitator and floor IQ again. And it's simple stuff like, as we mentioned before the recording, it was setting a screen, whether it's at the top of the block or at the bottom of the block. Just being more aware of my teammates, and I'd rather hand it out to my teammate who's open for free than me go up and not get that call. You did the horrible
bit of setting the heavy screens, of boxing out, of just fighting down low. That was what you did, and that was what you did.
And just simple stuff like that, or even if you're playing five out, and you pass the ball and then you cut, rather than cutting, I'm turning back, setting that screen, or I'm going to fake the screen and then cut. Just adding simple stuff to that IQ on the floor. I think as we've seen, I didn't get many minutes, but I think that's what everyone who saw me at training can kind of prove on.
Yeah.
No, we agree. I'm going to go me, and we'll go to the disruptive in a minute. I think, JP, to touch on why you might not have got as many minutes, and it's not putting me in a bit. I think I had that as well. So I had a bit of that understanding. And you guys know Martin. Me and Martin were like two peas in the pod because of everything I learned basketball-wise at uni was because of Martin. So when he became the coach, whatever he was thinking, I had probably already thought the same. So if it was, we need to run this defense, run this off, it was easy to have the chat. And I think when you got there, we all saw that from you. It was just unfortunate. I still had 2 years left. Like you came in when I had years left, which sort of did that bit.
Well, in terms of an attacking sense as well, like on an on-ball presence, I wasn't going to get ahead of Patrick, and I wasn't going to get ahead of Shamar, and I was happy with that in a sense, and I was happy. And then obviously I was, as you say, not almost in the shadows, but you were there already doing the job that I thought I could do. So it was just one of them situations.
No, I agree. And mate, a hell of a player. Just unfortunate timing, really. I think we knew that from training. There was no issue about that. But yeah, going into me, my best attribute, shooting, my athleticism.
You lost me at shooting.
I can't tell best view. There is because this is ridiculous. So yeah, I think I led our team in rebounding probably 3 years out of the 4 I played, and that half of the year twice. I mean, I never led the team in assists, but I seem to always get like 6 or 7. I led the team ever in points. I think my best attribute was actually being sort of the leader of the team, even when I weren't captain. Yeah. And like, I think Wayne probably vouch for this. When you were captain, Wayne, there were times when we would just have conversations to put us in a better position, wasn't it? It was like, oh, what do you think? And then it would be there in terms of my sort of leadership with my bit. Don't get me wrong, no one could out. That's a fact. But like that was my best attribute. Also, I think linking in with the leadership, Martin once told me after he'd been and saw Scott Brooks, he said that around the league in the NBA, they all thought DeAndre Jordan was the best defender. I just caught that one. Sorry.
Big name drop that one.
That's next.
That's worth a few extra views this week.
There you go. Let's get them up. Still waiting for that. And he came back and said everyone in the league thought DeAndre Jordan was the best leader / defender in the league, but actually his stats didn't show it. And he said to me, what he does is he stands around, chats out every play everyone ever runs. So when he sees them call horns, he tells everyone when to go, or as they're coming down the court, he'd call out the play they're doing. And Martin said to me when you do. So when you if you ever ask Shem, this is my tip to Shem, and it stayed between us for years, and he still talks to me about it. When I defense, I used to imagine I was mic'd up for ESPN. So in that sense, that they might cut to me and they hear me calling out plays. Now that's how I used to play. So when I used to talk on defense, it was like someone's listening, like there's a mic on me, and that's how I used to play. So I think my leadership links into that, and then the rebounding, and there wasn't a big that would score many on me. I go back to the 6'9" guy at Portsmouth who claimed he could out rebound me, and actually I beat him in scoring that day because he just couldn't. He just didn't know what to do.
There was two. There was there was one that was like 6'9", 6'10", and the other one was like 6'8". The 6'8" guy was big. The 6'10" guy had absolutely zero basketball ability. But
he's a claim.
He just wanted to try and dunk everything, but other than that, couldn't make a layup.
And he hit me on my chin with his knee on the way up once. I didn't look to set get an offensive foul. He just jumped and just slapped me with his knee, and he missed the dunk. And I just remember thinking, like, oh my god, like, if he'd have done that, I was done. If he did that to me, like I was. Like, there's no coming back. I've been dunked on once, and that was caught on video, and I come back from that. I'm not getting back from a geezer hitting me in the chin. All right, enough of me.
But
Corey, what about you?
Just saying, just if I could put in there, but going back, like, I can vouch for your leadership in a sense that, like, you know, when I felt like I could come to you and talk to you about my game, what I thought I needed to improve on, and you know, there was that clarity there and the communication, and just, you know, and I think that there was that sort of aura around the group that, you know, you were a warm and welcome person, whether you know, a senior or, you know, one of us freshers coming in. And I remember vividly the time that I sprained my ankle. I don't know whose actual foot I jumped on. So I've come for a board, and I'm in agony. I'm in absolute agony. I'm in training, and you know, you've just cleared the floor. You've told everyone to move. You know, you're just chatting to me in my ear, saying like, "Listen, like, I know you probably gonna come back in and train, but just there's no point. Just leave it. Like, you know, come back next week, come back fresher, and just stuff like that. That's definitely something, you know, I can
he was saving his position. That's why he was feeling like,
mate, you knew the plays more than I did. Mate, it was my foot. See, for me, and before we get to Corey, for me, I was lucky, and again, Corey can vouch for this. When I went to uni, you guys know the story of me not making it and then coming in later on in sort of late November, early December. But the seniors I had on that team, unbelievable. Like, I can't ever say a bad word about any of them, bar one maybe, who tried to flatter me when training. And most...
Yeah, we'll leave that down.
Yeah, I can't say a bad word about them because of different bits. And there was one player who didn't play as many minutes, and again, as a freshie, you don't play many minutes, and I was getting angry with him. Probably my favorite and best stat line we were chatting. It was the 11 and 11, and I think must have been like 5 assists as a fresh. And then the week after, we had a big cup game, and I played a minute and a half. So the week before, I dropped amazing stat line, buzzing, came off the bench, played well. No, I think I started, played well, and then didn't play any minutes really in the next game. And he pulled me aside during the game and he said, look, it's over. The guy that's in your place isn't going to play in next year. It's your time to learn. Have a beer later. We'll forget about it. We'll go to the club, like completely forget about it. And that was the best thing I ever had, because it was like, well, why am I like this? I've got 3 more years of it. So my leadership came from those guys. They taught me everything. Disruptive. And this is the one we've all been here for.
So I was going to say, I did have a stat line written down, and I actually said minutes played, right? But I forgot about touring first year. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'd done that court. With my headband and the geezer that looked like Jesus. It's actually video evidence of me being on a court as well.
So you unfortunately got to go on tour. We did our first year and we played. We actually did play. They split the team up and there was like a non-playing team and a playing team. For some reason, the tour company made us go to this tournament, didn't they? And we didn't take it seriously. I think within 10 minutes, Corey had to do a funnel.
You ruined one of my stats.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so this stat line, I think I played a good 4 minutes and that was enough for me. So 4 minutes total, points none, assists 1 to a girl. 5 girls added on Facebook and 1 chunder in that game. So that was
plus minus through the roof.
Through the roof. So that was one stat line.
The thing is, like, I can back him up on this. So this is stupid.
She was a wet shooter, by the way. Like, she was lights out.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to her in a minute. We'll come back to her. All right. I'm putting my hands up and you know why. I'll come back to her. And so during the game at the time, we'd shout random things out. So like Flores lava, some other stuff or whatever, grenade. And we had to do it mid-game. So I remember going for the tip and they were like, Tom, over to you, you can tip it. I've gone to go. And we're playing like this team we were playing, we're taking it seriously. All I hear is grenade. I had to hit the floor. While he tipped it. And then one of them was best friend. And you had to go and hold someone's hand. So they called it on Corey's game, and he holds this guy's hand who looked like Jesus, all right? He looked like Jesus. He was spitting image. And I'm sat on the bench, and I get a FaceTime from Corey mid-game. And he's like, Tom, it looks like Jesus. It's Jesus. It's Jesus running around, FaceTiming himself with this guy who looks like Jesus. And then the girl, I think, as close with the Essex girls team, it was there. One girl was a hell of a player, and for some reason we subbed her into Corey's game. That's where Corey got this from. But that night, right, we were in the one of the smoking areas of the club, right, and she came over to us, and there was another guy, AJ, and she came over to us. We were chatting with her, and this guy came by, and he was 6'10", 6'11", huge, built as well.
Head in the clouds.
Right? Built, and he had walking through, she nicked it, right, and put it behind her back and stood with us.
About his hat, by the way, you cut out.
Oh, his hat. It was hat, not his phone.
It was his hat.
She nicked his hat and put it behind her back, and then he turns and looks at us 3 boys, and all 3 of us at the same time just went hands up in the air. We were having none of that. He's her. Look at her.
Look, we've got my hat. Look, looking around. Like, I ain't got it.
We were snitching.
That's a proper true pickpocket. That is like fully.
What a night.
Hey,
so back to my university stat line. Minutes played, none. Total ejections, 1. Still, it's beyond me how I got ejected in that game.
I still remember that game, and you deserved it.
Yeah, but also so did their player. And courtside scuffles.
Loads.
I'm leading the league in that one quite comfortably. Scuffles.
Yeah, mate, I agree. I can agree with that. All right, next question. We're going to look at who's the support or follow, or the guy that you follow. Okay, because we know basketball, it ain't just about the team. We've all got that guy that we want to watch, and no matter what, we watch him. Okay, regardless of team. All right, and we'll go. I can tell by the jersey, I think, and I know this guy. Wayne, what's your team?
That's all right. That's a stretch. My sporting role model is Rondo. just the best player in the world, honestly. In my head, he's like the best player ever. Like when I first started playing basketball, I don't know, I just fell in love with the way how he played the game, and obviously the team, but within the team, at that point when I started watching basketball, it was like Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG, Kendrick Perkins, they're Tony Allen, but my favorite player was Rondo. It just made so much sense in my head. And when I started playing basketball, I watched how he played, and that's exactly how I wanted to play. So the way I played basketball, that's exactly how I played. Just the best shooter.
So from Rondo, that made you a Celtics fan, yeah?
Yeah.
And I'm going to piggyback onto that before I go to you two. I'm the same. I'm a Celtics fan, not because of Rondo, but when the NBA used to do their Europe games pre-season, though, again, me and my brother and my dad, we went to the O2 to watch the pre-season game, and it was the first game that the Big Three played.
Oh yeah.
So this is how weird it. KG, who when we get on to the next part, is the guy for me. He had just been traded from the Timberwolves, and their first pre-season game in London was against the Timberwolves. So I remember as a kid thinking, "Oh my god, this is mad! This is huge." And I watched them actually tear Timberwolves apart, and I fell in love with the Celtics at that point. Never wavered during the time we had Evan Turner as our best player. Yeah. None of that sort of stuff. So for me, the Celtics are my team as well. And me and Wayne could probably talk all hour or however long we want on the Celtics. All right. Corey, I'm going to go to you. Who's your guy or team?
So kind of started for the same, really. Obviously, I said about watching Clippers with you, and that was a team that excited me. Obviously, they had that big three, and I loved DeAndre Jordan. But the guy I really, really liked watching for the next few years was Jamal Crawford. Obviously, I think it's about 2014, maybe 2015, I probably started watching him. Sixth man of the year, and just watching the way he was with a ball was just mental. So that was definitely a guy that I followed for quite a while. He was someone I obviously liked watching.
Decent. JP?
I think for me, it's not just from a sporting aspect as well, but the guy that I like watching day in day out is LeBron, because it amazes me. It's a little bit cliche, but it still amazes me of what he's doing at his age. I just think it's ridiculous. He spends over $1 million a year on his health and his fitness, and it's just you just look in amazement. And there's a load of stats out there. He's got he's carried 3 teams to NBA finals. He's won a chip with 3 different teams. I think Danny Green's the only other player to do that, or some other weird stuff like that. And he can do it all. I've seen lately he's doing them behind the back passes again. He's doing skip passes behind through the legs of people, and just not even as a facilitator. He come out the other day against the Pistons in the double overtime and just took it over again. And it's just he does that casual. And
that was without AD.
Walk. Yeah, exactly. AD's taking a rest that day, so he's doing that casual walk up to the key, and then he just pulls up for 3, and it's like, this shouldn't be happening from you at your age. And then I revert back to the age, and it's just especially he's a guy that I like to look at what he's doing in the community as well. Helping the next
There's
generation.
no better role model in sports, I don't think.
Yeah.
If there's anyone to look up to, LeBron James is the guy.
Yeah, 100%.
I think for our generation, especially, and there's 2 trains of thought. You're either a Kobe guy or you're a LeBron guy, and it does fall between. I think there was a time when you couldn't be both. I think now we've got, as things have happened and people have got older, you can be both. And JP, I'm the same. LeBron's the guy. He's the god. That is the guy of basketball to me.
For me, in our next segment, he's not more so my idol, but he's just a guy you look at every aspect and you're just you're the guy. You do it all.
You just want to watch him, don't you? You want to see him do what he can do each week.
If I could spend the week just following someone's life, it would be LeBron in a sense that you want to pick his brain, you want to know just what he does and just how he goes about his business, and that's just something I want to take an interest in.
Mate, if I carry on with the sporting idol, then who is your sporting idol?
I'm gonna drop a bigger one here.
I call that one.
A bit of a cliche thing. It's my father. So my father played for Aston Villa, and at a young age when I found that out, and I'm seeing his face on Panini stickers and whatever, I'm getting absolutely gassed. I'm buzzing. I'm my dad's on the front of the sticker and that. So I'm there just rattling off his brain who's the best player you played against? Where's the best stadium you played in, whatever. And then it got to a point where I was playing football like obsessively, like day in, day out. And then his way of like coaching me was shouting and like, in like an aggressive manner, because like, just try to enforce it. And then I'm at that age where I didn't understand that as like a young kid. Like, I'm all about positive encouragement and like, you score a goal, you're gonna get some match attacks or whatever. Like, but he was always like, he's always about that, like, that strong reinforcement. And just I realize that now, and I wish I listened to him more when I was younger.
No wonder you hated me coaching you. Do it.
For those that do not know, and a bit about Corey before we go into his sporting idol, when the team had to go away and I coached away, or that was fine, and because I said earlier, I'm on the same page always. You then had Corey come along with me, and the train of thought I always had was I taught Corey, so it was in my head fine. Corey's going to think the way I do. So then when I went there, Corey took you guys, and Corey's like a little pit bull. He will go and go until he gets
3 promotions back to back.
So look, do you know how I describe his coaching? Everything you're saying, Tom, everything you say for the team, he's saying it, but Corey's just shouting, "What are you not doing?" But but the thing is, if you know Corey, you know exactly what he's talking about. But like, if you've never met the guy, you're gonna see guys just shouting at the guys. It's like, that doesn't look like coaching, but it's coaching to people like for our team.
Individual man management was my preferred tactic. Yeah. Shout at someone until they get it right.
I wish Tom
3 championships.
I wish Tom could have witnessed you at Portsmouth when we come away from Portsmouth, and I think Shem had a brilliant game, like defensively. He blocked a load of shots and that, and then. I got a bit unhappy because someone else got more minutes than me. That blew out of proportion on the way to the train, and I just had enough. I just had enough. I was ready to pack it in. I was ready to stop getting on trains on the Saturday morning. I just had enough, and I was like, I just can't get off the call anymore.
So the thing is,
you're still here.
Corey would always phone me after the games, so we would always chat. Even when I weren't there, we'd have a chat, and it would always be, they did this, we did this, we ran, when they went to zone, we ran this. And then like one of the last questions would be, did you piss anyone off today? Yeah, this guy. Before we keep going, we could probably spend the whole time on this story, but who's your sporting idol?
Oh, in general, it's got to be Jimmy Bullard. I know it's random, but I love the geezer. He is a national treasure. He was never that good either, but he's just a national treasure. I just love him.
Wow.
I can't.
To be honest with you, though, he is quality. He is quality. Like, his segments on Soccer AM and that, and just the cameo role he plays. That's Corey to a T in himself, and that's I can definitely see why Corey
the geezer that's always in your ear.
Epitomise him.
Wayne, your sporting idol.
Rondo. Like, do I need to say it again? Like, when I look at that guy, I'm like, oh my God, like, he's just like the God. Like, and obviously he does help out in his community, and like, but it doesn't really. It's not as talked much about because he's not as famous as the other players, and not as like as great, even though he's the best in the world. But yeah, like, I love everything about him. I'm not gonna lie. And if he's watching, hi.
Well, we'll tag him.
Scott Brooks, Rondo, Jimmy Bullard.
Birmingham City. We've got to put that one in there. For me, it's a different one. Probably, I think Corey knows mine ahead of time. Similar to the reason why I always was 7. Okay, similar to JP's one. So again, brother who taught me the game, he always wore 7. And his reasoning is because of David Beckham, which like that is just how it was. David Beckham wore 7, he wanted to wear 7. People, when they play basketball, want to wear 23. My brother wanted to wear 7. So when I got to uni and they gave me an option, I wore 7. So that's him. He can have that. I know he's going to watch it, but he can have that. But then sport is in the world of like professional sport. for me, it's KG. I love the guy, and I fell in love with him in, I think, like 2003. So he was league MVP, and then we bought NBA Live that year. So it wasn't 2K, it was NBA Live, which actually is terrible now looking back at it. But they gave KG a 99 rating, and as who doesn't know basketball, so I was like 8 or 9. You see any 99 rating, 6'10", 6'11" on the game, you're thinking he can bring the ball up, he can shoot from anywhere, like he can block anything and dunk anything, but he couldn't. But I didn't understand the game. I was like, why is this guy 99 rating can't do anything, or like anything I wanted him to? And then when I learned the game, I was like, oh my god, he's amazing. And then fast forward on to 2008 when he gets traded, or like 2007 heads over to Boston, and that's when I sort of like mixed in the Boston loving with the KG loving. And when we spoke about me on defensive end, who do I want to be? I wanted to be KG. Like the game was so intense, but
do you know he's still
in his
paid,
own
by the
way.
way?
Mate, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
He's still paid by the NBA. He's got like 4 years left on a contract that's
He's one of the
$5 a year.
Yeah, he's one of the richest like players like ever.
Yeah, he's one of the rich. I think he's the richest non-player. I think he's the richest non-active NBA player, if you know what I mean. Like he's still getting paid.
Yeah.
But there's like 4 players in the league that are on contracts till 2025, still being paid.
One of the more interesting ones is, I think, like Luol Deng is still being paid.
Yeah.
Like,
by Lakers, isn't it?
Lakers, and he's not played for it. And shout out to him because he's one of the best players, the best player to probably come out of England. And what he's done with the Deng camp is unreal as well.
Yeah.
So like that, mate, get your money. I've got no problem with that.
You earned that bread.
It's common in American sports. I've seen something the other day with the MLB in baseball, and there's like 20 people who were getting paid like 1.5 mil per year, and they're like 40 already, and so they're getting paid till 2035 because like these teams can't afford it, like because of salary cap and stuff like that, and just American, you know, if they want to. If you ask someone to stretch their money as a businessman, they're like, yeah, go ahead. Like, we don't want to pay you right now. We'd rather pay you down the line. Like, that's just how the Americans work.
Yeah, it's not here, is it? All right, last question to get to know us all. We're going to go with our all-time team, like 1 to 5 players, all right? And I'm going to make it clear, this isn't who you think's the best 5. So we're not just going to have Magic, Michael, LeBron. Like, it's your 5. Who are your 5 guys? All right? And I'll kick off with mine. All right. And for me, AI, Allen Iverson for me. All right. Again, that time of playing NBA Live and watching games. The first jersey I owned was an Allen Iverson jersey. I think I still got it somewhere at my mum's. It's still there. Number 3 definitely won't fit me. Might fit you, Wayne. But but he was. Everything I like loved about basketball and watching was Allen Iverson. Playing at the 2, it has to be Mike. Everyone loves MJ. I actually, funny enough, as a kid, I didn't like MJ. I wasn't a huge MJ fan. So I didn't watch him. And as a kid, you'd like to go against other people. And my brother loved MJ. And I hated, I used to say Scottie Pippen was better. And that always used to wind him up. And I used to jump on the bandwagon of MJ wouldn't get this without Pippen. As I grew up and learned the game, you know how wrong that is. And you learn what a guy and what a player he is. So he's in there. So I've got AI, MJ. LeBron's got to be in there. Again, as we said earlier with JPI. Right? For our generation, you look at basketball, LeBron James is the man. KG's in there at the 4. No, I moved KG to the 5. What a guy. Said it all. And then it's got to be my man, Draymond Green, coming in at 4. The most underrated, undervalued man alive in the NBA. He deserves to be paid.
He'll get paid, but
more than he is. He's the guy.
You're getting paid to say this time, aren't you, about him?
Mate, no, I'm doing this for free. I'm doing this off my goodwill for Draymond here. He deserves money. JP, actually, we'll go Wayne. We'll jump down to Wayne because I have a feeling I know who's playing the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah, well, I thought about it, I'm not going to lie, but my 1 is Rondo. It's never going to be another 1. My 2, Ray Allen. I'm not going to lie, not going to be another 2. 3, LeBron. Funny enough, I used to hate LeBron when I first started watching basketball. But then I just couldn't hate him no more. I don't know what it is. I I started to like him, and it's like, wow, why does everyone hate this guy for so long? And I forgot the reason why I hate him. I just started liking him. My number 4, I'm gonna cheat. So I'm gonna have KG. I'm gonna have Dirk for my number 4. I don't know. I love Dirk, and I love how he can't play defense. But anyway, and then my number 5 is KG. I just couldn't I love it. As you said, like KG is one of those like outside of Rondo, he's another reason why I started liking Celtics and Kendrick Perkins.
JP, we come to you.
So, mine is based on just perhaps following their story a bit more and just like not so much research, but just taking more of an interest off the field, off the court, rather than just on it as well. And at the point, it's got to be Tony Parker for me. I don't know if any of you have watched his Netflix documentary, but after watching that, I took more of a shine to his, personal story and just how he got back into basketball and from a young age, not growing up in an era where basketball's sort of loved internationally, and he's perhaps like the first guy to break that barrier for us in terms of bringing the NBA to a higher level here internationally. At the 2, I've got Kobe. Just his mentality. Just I think anybody who loves like basketball in general, just all in sport, and just that mentality of winning. I remember, I heard of Kobe before I even got into basketball, and just you hear about the mentality he has of winning, and I was at a young age where if I lost a Sunday league football game, I was crying after it. I hate losing, and it just like the story of watching and learning about Kobe carried on from there. So then at small forward, I've got LeBron. Again, after what we've just mentioned about him, you could say I love him, I guess, but I just admire what he's doing at this age again. But next to him as a power forward, for me it's Blake Griffin. Touching on what Corey said about him.
I toyed on it.
Like, just in that era of Lob City, you just got to take amazement to that as well. And just I was looking the other day at the top 10 dunks for the Clippers, and him or DeAndre on the receiving end of a pass from Jamal Crawford midair, and they're doing windmills
or Chris Paul lob, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or he's got Humphreys from the Celtics on a poster, and he's on about 5 posters from Blake. So he's definitely someone that's entertaining to watch.
I didn't like Humphreys anyway.
And then at the 5, I've got big Shaquille O'Neal. Probably the most, I think we can agree, the most dominant big man to ever play NBA. I know the game's changed in terms of contact and taking contact and receiving it, but I think he brought a lot more to his game rather than just what people think. He admitted he went ring chasing for a while, and just again, he's another person that I like to follow his story closely off the court as well. How he's become a businessman, how he looks after his family, and he just there's more to him than just what we see on the court, and I respect that.
I like that 5. Disruptive. I see you scribbling up there. What you got?
Yeah, because this is something that I thought about and then just didn't write down. I was like, right, what do I want to pick? And then just didn't do it. But obviously, you've got to go with Jamal. He was one of my favourite NBA players. Just as I said, watching him was so interesting, especially when he was in Lob City, coming on the 6th man of the year. Just watching him was so entertaining. So obviously he's in there. Again, 2 that have been touched on, MJ and LeBron. This is the argument of the greatest of all time, isn't it? If you can put them both in your team, put them both in your team. So don't need to cover anything on those. I've got Vince Carter. Again, someone that I remember sitting there and watching, and 2 of my picks here go back to watching basketball in my first year at uni with Tom. And this leads on to me playing Dwight at 5 as well. Just because I remember, I think one of the first ever basketball videos you showed me, Tom, was Dwight Howard doing the Superman dunk in the dunk contest. I think 2008, was it?
Yeah. Over Nate. Oh, no, not over Nate, but that year.
Yeah, and I was like, I could see why you loved him. So, yeah, my 5 is Jamal, MJ, LeBron James, Vince Carter, and Dwight Howard.
But
What,
we're
some
talking about
serious
that.
dunks in that team as well.
We're
Some
talking
serious
about the
dunks.
dunks in that. And I reckon the second video I showed you was probably Vince putting his arm in the ring.
Yeah.
That's probably number 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are unreal 5s. Quite disappointed I didn't make yours, Corey, but fair enough. I'd take the coaching role if you want. But
man, all right, 6 man.
yeah, mate, I'm a hell of a 6 man. You can plug me in anywhere.
You have played one spot.
Yeah. All right. All right. That's our sort of get to know episode. Check us out. See you later.